YouTube, doing a little, whoa, shoot, I cut myself. Huh. Whatever, dude. Facebook and YouTube. First, before we dive into the video topic, greetings from London. I hear Rosie back there doing house sit here for a couple weeks. We'll be in London for the month, so we're just loving the city so far. It's brilliant, as they say. It really is. It's phenomenal city. But before we dive into the video topic, guys, I wanted to let you know, a lot of you know, some of you don't, that I run a site called bloggingfromparadise.com, where I teach people how to blog. I sell blogging courses, blogging ebooks, and you'll find the links to each on my blog under, naturally, the courses and the ebook tab. I also provide blog posts to guide you through blogging, teach you how to blog. So, guys, I got this idea, and I was thinking about blogging from paradise.com, networking, also just looking at my Facebook and Twitter and chatting with individuals. Interacting with individuals online. And then I thought, like Kelly and I, how much we interact with folks offline from all over the world when we do our house sits. Now, sometimes, of course, we kind of do our own thing in the apartment or the house once we get back from various travel locations. But just this idea of meeting new homeowners regularly, venturing outside of our quote-unquote comfort zone, and how we develop the skill of interacting with people. And we figured out the quickest way to do it. And I think a lot of folks know this. A fair number know this, but a lot don't. And you could tell, obviously, by the way people conduct themselves. But the quickest way to develop your people skills, if you're looking to do it, and by people skills, I just mean basically how you interact with human beings in an online and offline setting. But just how you interact with human beings. In essence, really, that's people skills, or those are your people skills. How? The quickest way to do it, guys, and as I was traipsing through my messenger inbox, it hit me, and I've known this for a bit, but it is to meet new people, listen to them, and talk to them, or chat with them. That's it. That's the quickest way to do it. It is so straightforward, and we're so blessed in that we have this opportunity to meet people all the time in something called the online world. Yet, and this is really important, guys, and I've been having discussions with people, the homeowners here whom we're house sitting for, caring for their pet, or a really good chat with them, and just a lot of people recently. Yet, meeting new people online, absolutely awesome. Really great way to just tap into billions and billions of human beings and develop your people skills through interactions. Meeting, listening, or connecting, listening, talking. That's it. A lot. A lot. I met one new person this month. That's okay. Cool. When you do it a lot, then you'll get really, really skilled in being able to chat with people, listen to people, connect with people. But the online world, guys, definitely take that route, because you're probably not going to access 4.9 billion human beings offline anytime soon. That's a lot of travel. Plane tickets can kind of get expensive if you're trying to connect with 4.9 billion people offline, I should say, even at a level of scale. But in the online world, you have 4.9 billion or almost 5 billion human beings who've signed up for social media accounts. So that's why you want to access that. Yet. And this is so important, guys. Unless you're particularly clear in your mind and you're just really empathetic and compassionate and in the moment, it is important to regularly meet new human beings offline through whatever channels you choose. There are endless channels. You can meet people in so many ways, interact with people. It doesn't matter where. Crossing guard, cashier at the grocery store, any human being. When you meet them and you connect with them and you listen to them and talk, speak, chat, go back and forth, each offline experience explicitly, very clearly helps you to develop people skills quickly, because you will learn how to make eye contact with fellow human beings. Not necessarily like a serial killer. You know, some of these different pieces of advice when it comes to networking, I think people mean well. But when you do this robotically without listening to your heart, listening to your intuition, you may appear to be a serial killer, because sometimes with this eye contact and it's aggressive, it's just weird, this egoic crap. So I'm just talking about maintaining casual eye contact, being able to look someone in the eyes, but just to make eye contact with someone, to be able to listen, process, understand in person, and then respond or reply. To be able to talk confidently, to allow your personality out, to not be afraid. And I think most of humanity, especially with the advent of the online world, there's so much convenience, and it's just genius that we can connect with so many people intimately. Really draw into that one mind that we really are, because we're all just one mind. There's no separation, is an illusion. It's awesome. Yeah. The online world can give you what appears to be an out, so you can cop out and not face your fears that get triggered when you interact with other human beings. And you'll see, especially in this day and age, young and old people, don't just think it's young people, don't put it on them that they're just looking at their phones all day long and they don't know, they feel highly scared to interact with human beings offline, one-to-one. Old people too, because old people may have developed the skills, but then with the internet and their phone and their laptop and live streaming, you get to sit in front of Netflix for 10 hours and, let's say, work a job, interact with a few human beings there, and you come home streaming. There's so many tens of millions of people who do this, adults, younger people. So the online world's awesome, yet meeting people offline frequently, and online, let's just say online too, listening to them, learning how to interact, developing the skill, developing your people skills. You only get practice by gaining experience. You only gain experience by practicing. It just works hand in hand. You will develop people skills when you put yourself out there and make the highly uncomfortable decision. For a lot of us, it's highly uncomfortable to put yourself out there and to reach out and to friend request a person or 5 people, or to approve 5 people. Because you see, guys, the ego creates this hell, this nightmare of separation. And one of the ways it creates this hell, this nightmare of separation, is to make all the other segments, what appear to be segments, we're all one mind, to make them dangerous or risky or networking or developing people skills. Is the ego tells you, I don't do that. That's fine. But then you will start to see how much you suffer because you're terrified to interact with other human beings. And why is that? Well, other human beings, especially egoic, well, of course, egoically, but they're really good. They appear to be really good, highly skilled. They appear to be, and really it's our mind reflecting back to us, but when they appear to be saying, doing, feeling things, it's ultimately our mind being reflected back to us, yet they appear to be highly skilled at triggering our fears. And I remember reading the autobiography of a yogi. Yogananda's mentor, Sri Yukteswar, mentioned the tender inner weaknesses. So by that, he just means these egoic fears manifest as shame, manifest as embarrassment, manifest as grief and guilt, and the fear of failing, the fear of looking like an idiot, the fear of being rejected, the fear of being mocked, the fear of being laughed at, the fear of looking stupid. They're all fears, and fear's an illusion, guys. Yet, that stuff has to go for you to be free of it. If not, you'll just lock yourself and live in your room and die until you die. And I'm not joking when I'm saying that, because there are a lot of people that are so afraid of interacting with fellow humans that have no people skills or very, very scant people skills, because the online world has given them what appears to be an out. And it's not good or bad or phenomenal or sad or right or wrong. It just is. So now the question is, let me ask myself, how are my people skills? Ask yourself now, guys, how are they? Could you even broadcast live on Facebook and YouTube for 20 minutes or a half hour and chat? Would you feel horribly self-conscious? Would you hate how you looked? Would you not do the live video because you looked a certain way? And of course, it's not you with yourself. If nobody else is there, who cares? You're afraid how you look in front of other human beings, and you're afraid of how they'll judge you or what they'll say about you, what they'll think. All that shit has to go, guys, for you to be happy. How could you walk around with that stuff in your mind and be happy? You have to face it, feel it, and forgive it. Interacting with human beings is the quickest way to do that, because they'll find it. They'll find it. And even if they're not trying to find it, they'll just say things that will trigger that in your mind. And other humans, I'm telling you, and it's not easy, it's not comfortable, but when you're willing to just say, okay, I'm afraid of interacting with other humans because they're going to bring up my fears. It could be really uncomfortable, highly uncomfortable. Be really scared and nervous at developing people skills by doing the quickest way to do it, by interacting with other humans, meeting other people. Again, something as simple, you're on Facebook right now. Friend requests 5 people with similar interests. It will bring up stuff. I don't want to reach out. I don't want to do that. This guy might be a jerk. This girl might be a jerk. It's just, there's a lot of annoying people out there. You'll see all that fear come up, and you'll get why so few people have highly developed people skills. I used to be really, really shy a long time ago. I really was. I was painfully shy. I didn't go on my first date till I was 26. I had a lot of fears regarding rejection and criticism in my mind. But by making the uncomfortable decision to not so much be social, but just to meet people, to say yes, to get out there, I've become, I wouldn't say a lot more social. That's probably not the right word. I've overcome a lot of fears when it comes to interacting with human beings. So I have pretty strong people skills. Because I made that decision and I've developed it. We're meeting goodness knows how many homeowners over the years, and then stepping into their homes, caring for their pets, taking care of their homes. It's not just meeting someone casually. They're giving you the keys to their home. And their pets are similar to their kids, or they're basically are their kids to a number of these folks. They love them. Are their kids, but they love them. They love them. They're in the family. So Kelly and I have developed these skills. And yeah, sometimes it's highly uncomfortable. And you're just meeting new people for Yeah, 9 years now. We've been doing house sitting, like routinely. That's in the offline world, but then we meet a lot of other people in the offline world. This happens when you circle the globe for 12 years. You kind of can't do it in a bubble. We've been circling so I've developed pretty, I wouldn't say high level people skills, but they become much stronger because I meet people a lot. And I'm willing to be with the fears that come up. And that's really the key, guys. Once you commit, once you're all into doing it. And of course, guys, unless you have people skills, life's going to be really rough because we're one mind ultimately. And you're going to see that your happiness is in loving, and love helps. Love only gives, it doesn't ask. And compassion and empathy, like you're going to be in a bad way unless you have developed people skills. Now, I feel grateful that my dad, mom got me on the road when I was young. They planted some seeds about meeting people, talking to people. So I'm really grateful for that. Over time, though, I really had to take the next step to put myself out there in the world, out of my comfort zone and my seemingly small friend network in New Jersey. Meet a lot of people offline, and of course online, meeting tons of people. And I think a lot of minds, say a lot of humans, a lot of minds are egoically, because it's all egoic, that ego knows fear and spirit doesn't. You know who you really are doesn't. Fear is an illusion. No one knows love yet. A lot of people are deeply afraid of meeting many people online because it triggers all their fears. And then you'll have experiences where, and yeah, sometimes there's agitation and annoyance, and that has to be felt, and you have to let that go too. We don't have to, but of course, if you hold on to it. But if you're come across folks who are pitching you to join their business and anger comes up, upset comes up, that's something to face and let go, because it wasn't them, even though it appeared to be them, your mind. See what I mean? Your belief system being reflected back to you. So of course they did that. The more you develop people skills, you kind of reach a level where you see, oh, it's their fear. They just saw me as a number because they're afraid they're going to be broke. They're desperate. They're greedy. They appear to be. So that's fine. You see it's their fear. And then gradually you start getting to that point when you're interacting with people a lot and you move more in a direction of, let's say you develop advanced people skills. You won't even think about it. So you won't say it's their fear. You'll see more, oh, okay, what's in my mind now? What am I seeing in this person pitching me or trying desperately to get money from me or any of that other stuff? Or they're trying to get money from me. Oh, okay. I'll let it go right away. Or I'll let it go and then practically I'll hit the block button because it's no different. Nothing to do with the human being. I love them. Nothing to do with the individual. Nothing to do with the situation they're in. A block button, guys, as far as developing people skills, it's something that I've learned. If you want to really think this one through, it could be very helpful to remove the fear in your mind. Of course, forgiving is the way to do it. But practically speaking, it's hanging up on someone. Hanging up the phone on someone is no big deal. They want something, you want something else. You wanted to become friends, develop a relationship. They wanted to get something from you. No problem. I don't take it personally. Block, hang up. So I'm going to hang up on them because they're looking for that. And not angry, not upset. You got to really be at this game for a while in most cases to develop enough of a level of emotional intelligence to reach that point to say block, not the person. I appear to block the profile, but it's just hanging up on someone. Sorry, I got to go. It's funny to me. Yet you have to interact, for most cases, with a lot of people and develop highly advanced people skills too. I like your smiley face. Well, if you do, stop by bloggingfromparadise.com. Go play now. I love all those ideas. This is YouTube, guys. No, I really appreciate those ideas. And that's, any questions, of course, you could drop them there or leave a comment on my blog, but that's what I do at bloggingfromparadise.com. Go play now. We got blog posts, courses, ebooks, where it gives you the freedom to travel. And I like the idea of releasing your skills too. That's a very genuine way. You're starting from a very genuine point to like put that to put that life behind you if you so choose. You're just like, I don't really want to keep working that job. So it's cool that you're thinking along those lines. I like that release my skills. And that's what it feels like, because when you make that decision to put that behind you and you're like, maybe survival mode or whatever's pulling me to that life, I'm going to let that go. Like I'm kind of had it. Guys, there's another example is people skills. It's when you put yourself out there, more folks who have a level of resonance where like, yeah, I really could use your skills, or at least check it out, check out what you do. You just get really good. You become highly skilled at listening, helping, connecting, bonding. You only do it by putting yourself out there and by broadcasting live. And then somebody shows up and they ask a question, and in the moment you're like, boom, boom, boom. Or of course, sometimes folks spam on my live videos, and that's cool too. I'm not angry or upset. I hit block or I hit delete, not because I'm upset, but because it's hanging up. See what I mean? That's so different. And I only developed that skill because I've broadcast live thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times. I don't know if it's 10,000 times, thousands. Because I was doing this every day for years, and I've done multiple live broadcasts on some days. So when you do something thousands of times, and of course videos thousands of times, you practice and you develop people skills, you interact. When I'm checking the messenger messages, my inbox, I'm checking Twitter at replies, when I'm responding to comments on Blogging from Paradise. These are all people skills that I've been patiently developing by gaining experience through the simple habit of practicing how to network, how to bond. You could say how to do outreach, but it's not even that. It's just interacting with humans. You interact, you listen, process, understand, chat. And you do it again and again. And you're going to have to do it a lot, guys. Most of us have to. We're not born networkers, most of us. Some people a little more social, some people more empathetic. My friend Rob Cubbin had a great post a number of months, I don't think it's last month or whatever, but I really love the topic. He talked about being neutral. So he developed a skill when he was younger of just finding a commonality between himself and other folks, independent of their views. I think the world could use that right now, finding that commonality, because he established this neutral frame of mind where he's just thinking, okay, appears to be a lot of fear out there in the illusion, and this one believes this one believes that. So instead of cutting people off, and this is another thing that came up when we were chatting with the homeowners here, instead of saying, well, you believe this, so I hate you, or I'll never talk to you again. That's literally insane. That's not insane, because you know what? If that were true, this shows obviously an infantile level of people skills. It's just regressed. It's like no people skills, and that shows fear and ego and how that crap really screws things up. But if that were true and you didn't talk to anybody who didn't agree with you across the board, you wouldn't talk to anybody ever again, because we have different belief systems. I mean, technically, yeah, we're all one, but egoically, we believe different things. That's nuts. But you don't get past that. You don't forgive it by running away from people who share a different viewpoint. Now, of course, you will naturally seek people out who share similar viewpoints, and you may not stick around folks who are projecting their fear from different viewpoints. So if somebody's talking about the world is horrible, fear, rage, I hate this nightmare, in their mind, there's fear and guilt. You see the world as you see yourself. That the mind is just reflecting back to them what they believe, because we're all one mind. Yes, that's how we're designed. So if you're coming more from love, it is possible. Oh, see, guys, this is a perfect example. I'm doing YouTube lives for so long, for so many months, and now I'm getting a lot of questions, which I think is awesome. So stick at it, guys. Stick with it. It's really cool getting so I really hadn't got much engagement over there. Usually I get on Facebook. Is it possible to economically depend of the blogging and leave my real job? It is. Yes, I see what you're saying. If you could get to that point of where you do it professionally. But this is really important. It is possible. I'm just going to dive into this, guys, developing my people skills. Really important, my friend, to remember that it is, but you have to learn from a professional how to do it effectively and study it first. Almost nobody does that. So almost nobody succeeds. So that's the important thing right off the bat. Patience, learn how to do it, and then patiently follow their advice for a while and practice for a long time before you get into making money, if that makes sense. So what I'm saying is you learn from a pro and then you practice a lot for many hundreds of hours and many thousands of hours, and eventually success will come to you. So get really comfortable with those numbers, okay? It's so important to get comfortable with those numbers. Most new bloggers are like, I got to get out of here. I don't have time to practice hundreds of thousands of hours. That's totally okay. You don't have to practice that long. You also won't make money. You don't have to practice and you won't make money. So that's how it's going to work. But if you want to economically depend on blogging, quote unquote, you got to practice for a really long time. You got to put in work for months, years, and eventually it'll start trickling in. Nobody can give you a timeline. You got to get really good at this. Awesome. You can. It's going to be a while and a lot of practice. But the way I look at it, my friend, if you're going to be around, like anybody, nobody here is, I mean, maybe they are, and I don't mean to say this pejorative, like to make fun of anybody, but unless you plan to like leave your body, anybody's planning to die. Most people are planning to stick around, even if they're going through tough times. Like, yeah, I plan to live. And I'm not being funny when I say it. You may as well do something that is fun and freeing, and blogging can be one of those things. But as you're seeing, guys, as I'm chatting about blogging, these YouTube questions from these awesome folks, iLuxury, I like that name. Hey, you'll like London. You should come to London. I'm here now. I just saw a McLaren today. I know those are worth millions. McLaren. I saw a Ferrari Enzo today, Lamborghini, Bentley. The other night I saw a $6.5 million Koenigsegg. There's only 7. I feel like my niece doing this. 7 in the world, $6.5 million USD, 1,340 horsepower. It was right below the apartment. So come to London, iLuxury. Seeing the luxury. Yeah, luxury. And also too, oh yeah, definitely luxury thing. You should go to London, especially yes, especially Notting Hill, Kensington, like a little over that way. Roman Abramovich lives there. The Sultan of Brunei, Lakshmi Mittal, the Carnegie of Calcutta. You know, many billionaires live right in this general neighborhood. So definitely, it's a really cool place. It's fascinating, but the only way you're going to develop people skills, guys, is to interact with people and to put yourself out there and talk and friend request and comment on blogs and be social. It's like rocking folks over here on YouTube. See how they're chatting with me? That's it. It's like it's that simple, but it's just uncomfortable because I think a lot of us have a lot of fears that we have to overcome, and I've had to overcome them. Again, I used to be really shy. Forget doing a live video. I wouldn't make eye contact with people on the street because I had a lot of fears in my mind. Then when I interacted, a lot of those fears came up. And then I felt them, and it felt kind of unpleasant. It felt kind of uncomfortable, kind of crappy. Maybe I was a little angry. That's okay. Sometimes I projected a bit. Shouldn't have, but I did. Other times I just had it in my mind and I felt it and I let it go. Then going forward, I didn't have the fear and the anger and the rage or the frustration or agitation because it was no longer in my mind. And it was no longer in my mind because I became more skilled at interacting with people. I had stronger people skills by interacting with people a lot in the online world and then in the offline world too. It's still uncomfortable for me here and there, but basically there is a part of me that's become bigger where I could talk to a closed door. Okay. And that's just me chatting a lot, but where I feel confident enough to share. So many people so terrified. They're not doing it because they're humble or out of humility. They're terrified to share their life because they fear that nobody cares. I know that people care, not that I live some movie-worthy life. Well, it's kind of do, some people would say, but just because it's something to share with the world that could inspire and uplift and help. That's why I do these live chats and I publish my blog posts, and yeah, I have the money aspect of it, the business aspect of it, but you start to realize that this whole purpose of being in the body for a bit, is to interact, to help, to uplift, to inspire, to spread love. And you only do that by interacting with people. I mean, it's all mind, but like we're using these bodies as communication mediums. So you guys know I read a book and practice it called A Course in Miracles. And one of the concepts in the book, one of the concepts that one teacher is named David Hoffmeister, that Jesus really instilled in his mind. He was studying the book, he was studying it, getting the concepts down. That's great. He was practicing some of the lessons. But then at one point, he wanted to put his finger on the sentences and start studying a little bit more. And Jesus said, get your hands off that book, get your fingers off the book, let's hit the road. He knew interacting with human beings, got to train your mind, spend time in quiet, I got it. But interacting with human beings is the quickest way to bring up your stuff. It's the quickest way to bring up your fears and your self-consciousness. And don't worry, they'll get to it. Once you have that down, you're unstoppable, especially in a world of a lot of folks who are learning to interact and develop people skills, but that have, I wouldn't say poor people skills, but they're so afraid of people and interacting with them. And again, guys, when you see people staring down at their phones now, like I've been guilty of it too, but I don't get minutes for this phone. Once I leave the internet connection in the house or the apartment or wherever we're at, or hotel, wherever we're traveling, I don't have internet. And one of the main reasons for that is I'm not staring at this rectangular screen and I'm staring at people, but making eye contact, smiling, developing people skills, being open. When you're looking down at this thing, even something as simple as not depending only on GPS. I have a very strong GPS up here. I've developed it by not staring at the phone. And then in some cases, doing the thing that we used to do 40 years ago, speaking to another human being and asking another human being how to get somewhere on the road in that neighborhood. They'll know. That's another way to develop people skills. So technology rocks, guys. I love it. Use it. I'm a blogger. I get it. I'm speaking to people all over the world now on YouTube and Facebook through something called internet connection, and through a Facebook Live and a YouTube Live. And I'm developing my people skills here, but start meeting more people offline. Go to meetups, travel, get out there, speak to people who speak a different language. Even if you say one or two words, you develop a lot of people skills on the road when you don't speak a word in the native tongue outside of a tourist spot, and the other person doesn't speak a word of your native tongue. So for intents and purposes, say English here. I mean, I speak some Spanish. I learned in school and some practice abroad, but it'll develop people skills big time when you can't use the spoken word, because that'll bring up a lot of fears regarding self-consciousness, rejection, fearing that you look like an idiot. This is all really important stuff that has to go up and go out of your mind. You have to forgive, because if you bury that in your mind, how are you ever, if you're making your choices because you're afraid of looking like an idiot, how do you think that life's going to go? You're not going to interact with people, and it's going to get really dicey and depressing. You got to put yourself out there, guys, even if it's a baby step. It could be friend requesting someone that I'm so afraid they're going to reject me. What do they think about me? I don't know them, but it seems like we have something in common. Hit the submit button or whatever it is, friend request on Facebook. It'll bring up all those fears. So they don't say anything. They do respond. They might say, how do I know you? And then that's good, because that will bring up your fears around rejection, criticism. You fear looking a certain way. Once you get that stuff out of your mind, virtually become unstoppable, especially in a world where people are proving the best they can and they're trying, but people that are really afraid, they don't have the people skills because they're afraid of interacting with humans. Humans aren't that scary. I mean, some ways they could definitely be. I'm talking about like friend requests and getting DMs. Like, you'll see, the more you get clear in your mind, you'll have some fear, but the more you do things from love with your interactions, you're going to get a lot of that reflection back to you. Some awesome people are going to come across your blog, or if you're a blogger or a YouTube. Cheers, guys, as they say here in London. But I'm going to roll 35 minutes in. A little bit of coffee. Appreciate you joining again, guys. My blog is called bloggingfromparadise.com. So blogging courses, blogging ebooks for guidance, and also blog posts I publish for guidance. Develop your people skills, guys, by meeting new people online and offline. It's the quickest way to do it. It's really the only way to do it powerfully, because when you experience the interaction, that's how you're going to make things pop. That's how you're going to learn, how you're going to remember. When you don't and you try to do it without interacting with people, like that's it. They're going to bring up all this stuff. If you try to put yourself in some little cyber cave or your house, you just run away from human beings, you're never going to gain the experience, and those fears in your mind that would be triggered in interacting, they're just going to fester, and it doesn't end well. It doesn't when you cut yourself off from the world. So guys, that's it for today. Much love to all. Signing off from beautiful London in the UK. Until next time, enjoy paradise all.